In November 1504, Joanna's mother, Queen Isabella, died. Joanna would become Queen of Castile. Her father, Ferdinand II, would lose his status in Castile but remain as monarch in Castile. There were though still conditions which Ferdinand could still take control, including if Joanna was absent from court or if Joanna did not want to rule. The situation would create great political tensions, with Ferdinand refusing to accept the succession. Both Ferdinand, and Joanna and Philip would mint coins to lay claim to the throne of Castile. Ferdinand would even go as far as to marry the niece of King Louis XII of France with the plan of producing an heir for Aragon and maybe even for Castile. The situation also caused tension in the marriage of Joanna and Philip, as Joanna was reluctant to act against her father, whilst Philip wanted to cement their claim to the Spanish throne. Philip would even go as far as to keep Joanna in confinement whilst she resided in the Holy Roman Emperor. Joanna though would find assistance from her father-in-law, Maximilian, who advised his son that to succeed as a monarch a husband and wife must be one. Joanna's support to the throne was strengthened by the population in Castile. So, in 1505 Joanna and Philip would set sail for Castile. Signs of Joanna's jealousy were evident on this trip as she did not allow any female attendants to board the ship, so there was nothing to tempt Philip into an affair. Their trip was not an easy one. First their ships were damaged and they needed to seek refuge in England, and stayed with Joanna's sister Catherine of Aragon and her husband, Henry, Prince of Wales, who would become Henry VIII. This would be the only time Joanna would see one of her sisters since her marriage to Philip. After leaving England, they wished to land in Andalusia in southern Spain, but were eventually forced to land in La Coruña in Galicia on the northwest coast of Spain on the 26th of April 1505. In an attempt to head of a civil war, Philip would meet Ferdinand in the village church at Villafarfila for a private meeting on the 27th of June 1506. Initially an agreement was signed that Ferdinand would retire to Aragon and agree to allow Philip to rule Castile alone, preventing Joanna to take her place as queen and in government. Then on the same day Ferdinand went back on his word and declared Joanna should not be prevented from taking her rightful place as Queen of Castile. Ferdinand would leave for Aragon 2 weeks later with no new agreement with Philip but keep his right to interfere should Joanna's rights as queen be denied. The procurators of Cortes would swear an allegiance to Philip I and Joanna as the King and Queen of Spain in Valladolid on the 12th of July 1506. They would also swear an allegiance to their son, who would become King Charles I of Castile, Leon and Aragon, and Charles V, Holy Roman Emperor. Just over 2 months later, on the 25th of September 1506, Philip would die after being ill with typhoid for 5 days in Burgos, Castile. At this time, Joanna was pregnant with their 6th and last child, who would become Catherine, Queen of Portugal. The death of Philip would see the country of Spain fall into chaos. By the 20th of December 1506 Joanna was trying to rule the country alone as queen. Her son, Charles, was only 6 years old and still in the care of relatives in the Holy Roman Empire. Her father, Ferdinand II, remained in Aragon, content in letting the situation grow worse. Joanna was unable to raise the money to secure the throne, and the population would be reduced by 50% by disease and famine. Her father, Ferdinand II, would return to Castile in July 1507, where the disease and famine would diminish and stability would return to the kingdom.